The Little Princess's Invisible Dress. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Luluna, there lived a 4-year-old princess named Lila. Princess Lila had the fluffiest pink slippers, a tiara that sparkled like morning dew, and a closet full of the most beautiful gowns in the world. But more than anything, she loved playing dress up. Each day, she would choose a different gown, a sunbeam yellow one for tea parties, a cloud blue one for drawing, and a glittering green one for chasing butterflies. But one rainy afternoon, while raindrops tapped gently on the windows, something very curious happened.
Your Highness, I've made you a magical gift,
Whispered her royal seamstress, Madame Poppy, as she tiptoed into the playroom, holding a small, empty hanger. Princess Lila blinked.
Where's the dress?
Right here. It's an invisible dress, woven with moonlight threads and stitched by the giggles of invisible fairies.
Invisible? But how will I know I'm wearing it?
Madame Poppy winked.
You'll feel it with your heart. This dress shows who you are on the inside. It only works when you're kind, brave, and true to yourself.
I want to wear it now.
Madame Poppy gently placed the invisible gown over Lila's head and buttoned up the back.
Done. You look perfectly royal.
Lila looked in the mirror. Nothing, not even a sparkle, but she felt something, a warm, tingly feeling from her toes to her crown. Chapter 1. The First Test. Later that day, Lila went to the royal garden, where the palace cats were playing. Princess Lila, called Sir Buttons, the fluffiest cat of all. Would you play hide and seek with us? Lila smiled and curtsied in her invisible gown.
Yes, your fluffiness.
They played and played until Sir Buttons got stuck in a rose bush.
Oh no!
Cried Princess Lila. She carefully crawled into the bush, ignoring the scratchy branches and thorns. Her gown didn't get torn because it was invisible, but her arms got a few little scrapes. Still, she smiled and gently lifted Sir Buttons out.
There you go, all safe.
Sir Buttons purred and nuzzled her cheek. You were very brave, Princess. Just then, Lila felt her invisible dress sparkle not on the outside, but inside her heart. Chapter 2. The Garden Party Surprise. The next morning, the Queen announced,
Today we are having a surprise garden party for the villagers.
Oh, how lovely. Can I help?
Of course. Can you carry these baskets of berries and cupcakes to the tables?
Lila nodded proudly, even though the baskets were heavy and the rain had turned the garden paths muddy. As she tiptoed through the mud with a basket in each hand, she heard 2 older princesses giggling behind her.
Look at her. She's not even wearing a dress.
She's just pretending,
said the other. Lila's cheeks turned red. She looked down at her invisible gown. Was it really there? Her arms wanted to hide behind her back. Her eyes wanted to cry. But then she remembered Madame Poppy's words. It only works when you're kind, brave, and true to yourself. So she lifted her chin and said,
I'm helping others. That's what matters. Even if you can't see my dress, I know it's here.
The Queen, who had been listening nearby, gave Lila a warm hug.
You are the most royal of all today, invisible or not.
And Lila felt her invisible dress shine like a star. Chapter 3. The Royal Parade. That weekend was the annual royal parade. Princesses from all the neighboring kingdoms came wearing sparkling gowns and jeweled cloaks. Lila stepped out in her invisible dress. The guards blinked, the trumpeters stared, even the parade elephants paused.
"Where is your gown, Princess Lila?"
Asked King Jasper of the Northern Hills. Lila stood tall.
I'm wearing a magical invisible dress. It shows who I am on the inside.
There was a quiet moment. Then a small prince named Theo clapped his hands.
That's the most special gown I've ever not seen.
Everyone laughed and joined in clapping, and Princess Lila led the parade, waving proudly, her invisible dress glowing with kindness and courage. Chapter 4. The Day It Disappeared. One day, Lila woke up feeling grumpy. Her slippers were missing. The royal breakfast had no strawberries. And worst of all, her pet turtle, Tutu, had hidden again.
I don't want to be kind today, and I don't feel brave. I just feel annoyed.
She stomped into the mirror room to practice her royal wave and gasped. Her invisible gown was gone, or at least she couldn't feel it anymore.
No, where did it go?
She looked under her pillow, in her toy chest. Even behind the bookshelf, nothing. Tears welled up in her eyes.
I wasn't kind. I wasn't brave. That's why it disappeared.
She sat on the floor and sniffled. Just then, there was a tiny knock at the door.
Princess Leela, can you help me fix this?
It was her little cousin Millie, holding a broken crown made of sticks and beads. Lila wiped her tears and stood up.
Okay.
Together, they glued and painted until the crown sparkled again. Millie gave her a hug.
You're the best princess ever.
At that very moment, Lila felt a familiar warmth return the invisible dress. It shimmered in her heart again. She smiled.
Maybe it never left. I just needed to remember how to wear it.
Chapter 5. The Birthday Wish. On Lila's 5th birthday, the kingdom gathered for a grand celebration. There were balloons made of soap bubbles, cotton candy clouds, and a bouncy castle shaped like a dragon. Everyone brought presents, music boxes, dolls, and a crown made of moonlight crystals. But Lila had one wish. When the candles were lit and everyone sang, she closed her eyes and whispered,
I wish that all children could have invisible dresses too, so they remember how brave, kind, and special they are.
Suddenly, a swirl of fairy dust sparkled over the cake. Madame Poppy appeared in a twinkle.
Your wish is granted, because invisible dresses come from the heart, and the world could always use a little more magic like yours.
And from that day on, whenever a child helped a friend, stood up for someone, or stayed true to who they were, something magical would happen. They might feel a little shimmer, a warm sparkle, or a quiet tingle of courage and love. And though no one could see it, they were wearing an invisible dress, just like Princess Lila's.